The winter is over at long last and the sun is shining on the Adriatic coast of Italy. It's time for the 2017 Blancpain GT Series to kick off at Misano, and we have a stunning selection. The field gets ever larger and better presented. 34 cars coming out to play at this, the opening round of the Sprint Cup. The Audi attack continues to be led by the Belgian Audi club, Team WRT. 5 cars they're bringing along this year. The number 2 crew will be Will Stevens and Marcus Winkelhock. But if there's a one on the door, it's the 2016 champion Enzo Ida, who again is sharing his car with Christopher Mies.
We had a very good season last year and very happy for that, but now everybody knows we start from zero again, so it's a new year, new championship, and we are here for the first weekend in Misano, which was the most difficult one for us last year. So we will see where we can start and how the rest of the season will go on.
Taking the battle to Audi in 2017, Bentley back for more action with the Team M Sport crew. 2 cars, number 7, Stephen Kane and Vincent Abril, and Andy Soucek racing again, number 8 this year, with teammate Maxime Soulet.
When you look at the entry list of this year, it's even bigger than last year. So, I mean, the GT series is getting more and more competitive every year, so we'll have to see after qualifying where we are. The goal obviously is to win the championship, but I mean, the way we finished last year, we proved that we could be competitive. So we hope to continue in that way and try to win.
McLaren ended 2016 as the Blancpain Endurance Champions, but this year they want to really get stuck into the Sprint Cup. Car 58 from the Straka Racing team, Alvaro Parent and Ben Barnicoat. 59 though, driven by Rob Bell and Andrew Watson. Let's see how they fare.
We have some different challenges this time actually. Everyone's 1 year wiser. But we do come in with a new team to Blancpain in Straka Racing. They're exceptional, that's for sure, but maybe it's just a little bit of adjustment for a new series, so this is different. We have a different tyre also, so that's just altered the characteristics a little bit with our car. So we've got fresh challenges, but you know, that's what we're all about. It's never easy, and we relish the challenge. So for sure this time we're looking for podiums.
Mercedes took the overall honours in 2016, and for 2017 that pairing of Dominic Baumann and Maxi Buch have been split. This year the HTP under 85 entry Julien Kowiak has been joined by Fabian Schiller. Maxi Buch will be joined by rising star Franck Pereira, and really look out for this pairing.
It's a great opportunity to be with one of the best team and car. They won again last year. They have a great success. And also for me it's the first time to be really on the complete program with the pro in endurance and sprint. And I'm with Max, who is also the champion, and he's a great driver, great guy. So it's yeah, really a new step for me in my career, and I'm looking for the season here.
Day has turned to night. Sun has set a long while ago, and the Misano World Circuit, Marco Cimoncelli, to give it its full name, is looking fantastic under the floodlights, but that's in the middle of the circuit. Out around the back it's pretty dark indeed, but we have 34 cars assembling on the grid as the Blancpain Sprint Cup grows and grows in the front end. Here's the calendar for the year. Opening 2 rounds in Italy, the first one here in Misano for the Sprint Cup, then we have the endurance round in Monza in 3 weeks' time, then over for a double header for Britain with the Sprint Cup race at Brands Hatch, the Sprint Cup, the Silverstone endurance round in May, then to Belgium, to Zolder for the 3rd of the Sprint Cup races, France for the Paul Ricard race, which will be pretty warm at the end of June, and then up to Spa-Francorchamps. You never know what the weather's going to bring for the 24 hours, the big race, the calendar, then 2 sprint races to bring out that part of the season to end at Hungaroring and the Nürburgring, and the finale, as in 2016, at Barcelona. So the safety car leading the pack around. Let's take a look at the starting grid. Marco Mappelli will lead away from pole position. Will he lead away from pole position? Maxi Buch alongside him for Mercedes. Then 2 more Mercedes, Raffaele Marciello, Dominic Baumann, Buch's partner in crime last year. Rob Bell, the best of the McLarens, in 5th. Mirko Bortolotti in his Lamborghini will start from 6th position. Lewis Williamson, another McLaren driver, in 7th, and Daniel Juncadella moving across from the DTM to join us at Blancpain. Stephen Kane and Julien Kowiak on row 5. Row 6, Will Stevens, another World Endurance Championship racer, and Dries van Tor alongside him. Alvaro Parent partnered this year with Ben Barnicoat and Jules Gounon. Look out for that young star, second generation racer. In the Audi world, it's Philippe Salicado and Giacomo Piccini in the best Pro-Am placed car. Back in 17th position, long way back for the Bentley crew. Soucek in 17th. Kevin Chekon, new to the championship, in 19th. And Johnny Kane, all sorts of set-up troubles for the Ulsterman in his McLaren. So 34 cars about the first half coming through the final corner, waiting to release all the horsepower. The lights are red, they've turned to green. Who will be down to the first corner in front? Will it be the Lamborghini? Maxi Boot looks as though he's got his nose ahead. Oh, what a fantastic low-down angle from the fourth row of the grid. But it is the Lamborghini that's made it through. So thumbs up from John Watson. It looks though thumbs up for everybody for the driving standards through turn one. Turn two, can they all get through there as well? A couple of cars put a little bit sideways, but it seemed as though it was job done by the Lamborghini.
Yeah, it did. I mean, that was a tough, right into turn four and turn five. So Lamborghini gets the advantage. Marco Mappelli, he used all this skill and all the advantage that the Lamborghini could give him, the horsepower, the grip off the line. And Max Book was so upset now, you can feel he lost this opportunity. Now he's going back behind being shunt, coming out of turn six. Cars all over the place, so that's going to be possibly a red flag, because right now it is chaos on the exit of turn six. Contact somewhere between the midfield, and you can see there's 4 or 5 cars, heavy damage, cars on the left, cars on the right. So this is a mess. First 4 corners, first 5 corners, no problem. But once again, it's the midfield of this field that have been involved. So we're going to have to wait and see. The safety car has been deployed, but I think it's going to take more than a safety car to clear this mess up.
Yeah, I'm afraid it seemed as though one of the ISR Audis got put sideways, but it's a corner, it's a fast kink, and you're accelerating because you know it's a short straight that follows. Let's have a replay. There's the Lamborghini leading the way round onto the back straight, and in about 4 or 5 cars time, maybe a bit further back, one of the Audis gets kicked sideways. There it is.
And then it gets slammed. There's one of the Grasso Lamborghinis that gets turned. There's both of the Grasso Lamborghinis seem to be involved, certainly 2 of the green car. And again, when you're in that sort of melee of cars, you don't know which direction to go, because you can see a car literally out to your right or out to your left, and by the time you get there, it's in your path. So just some drivers have nowhere to go. The best thing to do is aim for something. By the time you get there, you might be lucky and be clear of it. Giovanni Venturi looking, and Venturi concerned, obviously, and we're just getting an indication of what's taking place. So the body language says, look, I didn't do anything, I couldn't do anything, I was in the middle of a field, and it just imploded.
Lights out on the safety car. The drivers know he'll be in at the end of this lap. They had the two safety car laps. You can see 0-1 flashing on the windscreen of 66 coming into the pits. Has he got a puncture? So Maxi Book goes into the lead at the start of the race. I thought he was slowing, and he was on the wrong side of the circuit. So for Marco Mappelli, from glory to absolutely nothing. For Maxi Book, all those planned moves, he doesn't have to think about them now. He's leading the restart, and Mirko Bortolotti looking very feisty indeed, trying to get second place in the green Lamborghini. Can't do it. It's Maxi Book from Dominic Baumann. Do those names sound familiar to you, John?
Well, they do as a pairing, but now they're driving in separate cars. But it's Marco Bortolotti who is the one that's really, really pushing, trying to use the opening lap, trying to squeeze up the inside into turn 5. He gets past the Mercedes, and that's an indication of where the Italian is. He knows he has got the best chance at the restart of this race to get and do some serious business. He's now got 84 ahead of him. Maxi Book will be a more difficult challenge to find a way past.
Yeah, well, he tried very hard, and Raffaele Marciello got up the inside and spun poor old Dominic Baumann around. 2 Mercedes trying to occupy the space that 1.5 could fit in. So for Dominic, we've already lost our pulser to Marco Mappelli reporting into the pits. Dominic Baumann minding his own business, jumped by a very, very hard-pushing Lamborghini driver, which was, of course, Mirko Bortolotti, who was very brave. It paid off. He bounced off the curbs. The cars went sideways. He got into second position. 2 corners later, Dominic Baumann given a clout by Raffaele Marciello right down towards the tail of the field. But now, certainly Bortolotti looking for glory for Lamborghini and pushing the Mercedes Maxi Book so hard.
Well, you could see 1 lap earlier, he got past Dominic Baumann cleanly and easily through turn 4. Now, a slightly different task with Maximilian Book, but the Lamborghini would appear to me to have that little bit of additional grip on this opening lap into lap 2. So as long as Max Book doesn't make any fundamental errors and open a door, he just can keep the racing line. If he has to go slightly defensive, that's going to just stall out the pace of the 63 Lamborghini of Bortolotti.
And here's a chance to just witness how little you can see in the dark as the ASP is edged out of the way by Christopher Mies. Last time I blinked, he was 12th. Now he's up to 9th. No wonder he was champion last year in the Sprint Cup. And Enza Ida will be rubbing his hands with delight as he watches. He's still got probably quarter of an hour until they'll consider putting him in the car. 87, that's Jules Gounon off the circuit. He's just lost a position. I think Alvaro Parente just gone past.
And he's pulled off. I mean, he stopped somewhere trying to get the car behind those safety barriers.
Just look how wide these cars. They all seem to be having a competition. Mies and Haas are going wider still the BMW.
Yeah.
Two BMWs running together. Anything you can do, I can exceed. Oh, by far, McLaren take the prize down towards the tail end. I couldn't tell you if that. I think that was Alvaro Parente, actually.
I'll tell you what, it certainly won't go unmissed. Now, you'll get a warning for that. And if you persist in doing it after 2 warnings, you do it a 3rd time, you will get a drive-through penalty. So the team will be on the radio to Alvaro until we saw that. You've just got to remember.
Car 59 must respect track limits. We know who that is.
At turn 6, yes.
It's Rob Bell in 4th place.
As the Lamborghini is into the pit lane.
Pit window
lane open. Mirko Bortolotti, the first of the leading cars in this race, part 2, is into the pit lane.
Master stroke or not, we'll find out. He was certainly coming under increasing pressure. Now it's time for Raffaele Marciello, who was pushing so hard to pass him on the track, to really try and maximise having clear track ahead of him. It did seem to us he was quicker than the Lamborghini ahead of him. Now he's got to put in some very strong laps. And don't forget, when he was doing his racing there, trying to overtake, this is his first year in GTs. He's a former European Formula 3 champion in 2013. A couple of really good seasons in GP2, but a whole new world, racing not only a GT car, but also at night.
Yeah, so there was Christian Engelhardt has just managed to get out before the Mercedes that was following BMW. So a number of teams taking the opportunity, the earliest opportunity.
Maxi Buch into the pit, so Franck Pereira waits a little longer. That's in from the lead of the race. That's the easiest position from which to pit. Where will the car come back out? That will be the question, because some of the runners who won't have pitted will still be out on circuit. Of course, the teams have to work these things out all the harder at night, and it seems so slow when you have to stick to the pit lane speed limiter and come in up towards the far end of the pit lane. The HTP Motorsport crew waiting. It says number 5 on the windscreen. He was first when he came through turn 16, but he's tumbling down the order as the others continue on the way. Franck Pereira taking over from the slightly smaller Maxi Buch. Maxi very quickly out of that AMG Mercedes, strapping in his French teammate. Fresh set of tyres all around, and all the other crews thinking, when am I going to be coming in?
So we've got cars on 3 and 63 must respect track limits at turn 6. Black white flag for car 39 and 333 for disrespecting track limits. If they do that again before the race finishes, they will have a drive-through penalty. They get a warning, then they get the black and white sporting flag. So car 39, that's the Kessel Racing Ferrari of Carlo Van Dam, and car 333, the second of the Rinaldi Racing Ferrari. Daniel Kilovitz, I don't know who's behind the wheel right now, just looking down. It is Kilovitz. So both cars have been giving the black and white unsporting behaviour warning. One more time, it'll be a drive-through.
But let's focus on what's happening out on the circuit. Number 90 is being pushed very hard indeed. He was 1.3 seconds ahead of the McLaren of Rob Bell, but tucked in behind he's now. There's another car. It's added because 59 has come into the pits. We just lost him from second place on the circuit. Rob Bell, who had been closing in that number 59 McLaren. Again, their garage up towards the exit of the pits, and tucked in behind is at the HTP. That's Jules Simkowiak Mercedes coming in to park near a pit exit.
Yeah, and Andrew Watson's going to jump into the car. Rob Bell has just brought into the pits. So for Andrew, this is a big step forward in terms of where he is in relation to his GT3 racing career. And having done last year the 5 endurance events, which is, although they're very competitive, but he was doing it more as a pro-am entry. Now this is a full-on pro entry, and he's going to have to step up and deliver the way his team. Whoa! Wow! Interesting what McLaren have got as a mechanism. When they fire the engine up, it is actually in gear. As soon as the engine fires, the car's off and running, and that nearly clipped the back of the Mercedes and one of those team guys directly ahead. So Andrew is fired up, that's for sure.
He certainly is. I'm just trying to see where he rejoined. Just coming out of that slow pit exit, we've seen Maxi Buch having handed over the 84. That's gone through the lead of the race. Mercedes. That's the 85, the sister car, started by Jules Simkowiak, now being handed over to his teammate Fabian Schiller, young racer. Now, where is the McLaren in that grouping? There it is. And looks like he's just maybe lost a position to 63, just managed to sweep past. 63 was ahead in the first part of the race. Mirko Bortolotti was the first driver to come in, handed it over to Christian Engelhardt. His tyres will be up to speed, up to temperature. temperature. Andrew Watson has to control it, sit in behind, let the tyres come up to heat, and then go and play.
Yes, I mean, it's a high-stress moment for the young man from Dungannon to get into the car, have all this action going on around you, especially those cars that have been out on track for more than one lap, whose tyres and their temperature are up to operating levels. And he doesn't want to make a mistake. It's so easy to be forced into a situation where you just go into a corner, you lock a brake, snag a brake, run wide, lose time.
Unusual incident there. Praise to the sky, the Belgian Audi Club team WRT entry. We saw there the board in front of the car almost trip up the mechanic as he ran out the wheel, being hit by the car, these little things. So the number one entry, you have to look way down the order. Well, he's still listed, Christian Mies, as being, he was in 9th place. Of course, after these pit stops, at the moment he's listed as first. He should come out 9th, 10th.
Come on, Enzo, get the thing rolling. Slightly slow again, getting away from that pit stop.
Car number 90 has been very strong in the first and second parts of the race. So the pit window now closed. It sounded as though a car was spinning outside somewhere. We both had a little look.
Strained to see over the top of our screens. Now down the outside, is that a manoeuvre that could be? And there is a car. Well, that's what we heard. That is the car that spun in, well, basically missed the corner and looks extremely pretty. But currently it's
pretty kitty.
Yes.
So that was Yoshi Mori, because the pit window would have closed. That should be on his outlap, and that's down right towards the tail of the field. And in fact, a bit of a moment as he came back across the track. That would have been a bit scary for the car that was coming through turn 16. Unsighted side-by-side action through turn 8. One of the Bentleys having a go. Well,
the only one Bentley in the race.
We know it's number 7.
So that'll be advancing up a little behind the wheel. So there is the 90 car that was probably the most forceful once this race restarted, in the hands of
Marciello. Now let's have a look again at the restarts.
Watch Andrew Watson. They've been practicing starts all through the weekend. Barely, he might have just about clipped him. If he didn't
he almost got a spare wheel there.
Well, it wasn't the spare wheel. If he'd hit the wheel, the wheel would have hit the engineer, and then you had all sorts of other serious issues to contend with. But you know, McLaren have got this technique and mechanism on board that when they push the starter button, the car literally just fires up and just launches off down the pit lane. And watching them doing that in practice yesterday, I thought, what have they got on the car? I suspect other teams are doing similar things, but the McLaren was particularly noticeable and a very effective way of getting the car rolling after a pit stop.
You'd have to say that had it not been for Dominic Baumann being spun around on the very early stages of the race, just after the restart, and to drop him to 20th, that car in the hands of Jimmy Eriksson is now up to 12th place. We could have 3 HCP Motorsport Mercedes running 1, 2 and 3. Michael Meadows trying to keep them honest and losing ground, however, but he's now starting to be caught because who's behind him? Your favourite,
Well, no, he's my countryman.
He's your countryman.
And he goes
got your
way,
name.
Andrew Watson way off the track in turn 8, but he had managed to close the gap down to Engelhardt in the 63 Lamborghini. It's just under half a second now. That run way wide off the racetrack will probably add a little bit of time, but it indicates that the pace that the McLaren has got is matching and probably slightly exceeding that of the car that was at one point potentially looking like going to be a race leader. Now what's happening is that actually the Lamborghini Christian Engelhardt is actually holding up Andrew Watson, because the reason I can say that is Vincent Abril, who was over 2 seconds behind Watson, is now just over 1 second. So Andrew Watson, he needs to find some way. Otherwise, he's going to be doing the same thing as you saw Rob Bell, looking forward and looking backwards and trying not to open a door to allow the car behind to slip up the inside, but at the same time try and work out what can I do to find a way past the Lamborghini, currently in 4th place. There you can see yet again how Engelhardt is now pretty active, watching up the inside. Can he make it stick? Body of contact, but the Lamborghini might be able to hold. Well, wow, what a pass. But is it all done and dusted or not? When they come up to turn 9, the Lamborghini's on the inside. He's not going to concede. He's managed to hold. Wow, good racing.
Wow, fantastic. I tell you what, John, when you looked at the screen, I quickly looked out the window. I could only see one car going through turn 8. They were so close, side by side in the dark.
I mean,
fantastic.
That was real.
There go those eyes again. Is that a replay? No, he's still having to look in his mirrors.
Real hip and shoulder stuff from a pair of young drivers who are fighting to the maximum they can for that 4th place. There's Maximilian Buch, and he's pretty happy, I think, with what he's done here this evening. As we see.
Well, we forget at this stage in the race as 24 goes wide and Fabian Schiller goes up the inside. We forget, of course, that Marco Mappelli started on pole position, had it all done and dusted at the start, kept Maxi Boot behind him, and then at the second time of asking, just after the 2 formation laps, he peeled into the pits with fuel pressure problems. So really cruel for the Attempter Racing.
You couldn't make it up. Again, Watson coming up, trying to go round the long way, but then make the undercut as they come out of turn 9 into turn 10. Good opportunity evolving right now. So the McLaren into the wing, under the rear wing of the Lamborghini, into the first part of these 3 corner, this dog leg all the way down the back straight.
It looks like his best run, and that's certainly the closest he's been through the kink at turn 11. That's Curvone, and then 2 more kinks before they have to really get on the brakes for turn 14. And certainly the pressure is being ramped up by the Ulsterman. He's so close. Down they go into 14, almost touching the back of the Lamborghini. As you said, John, your body language is the same as the car, shifting sideways now.
Watson now pushing to the maximum he can get out of the McLaren, the 650S. Baz Linders, he's enjoying it. Rob Bell enjoying it as well. He's delighted at the pace of his new young teammate.
Well, I tell you what, he could be promoted yet, because the team manager of car number 90, which is running 3rd at the moment, to race control immediately. Clearly hasn't gone to talk to them about the clash between Raffaele Marcello and Dominic Baumann on the opening lap of the restart. So there may yet be a penalty applied to the 90 Mercedes, which could gain position for those behind. But let's not guess about that. Let's enjoy the racing. This incredible battle for 4th place. Christian Engelhardt, can he hold off? Can he resist Andrew Watson? Are we having a place change? And certainly up the inside goes Dries Van Tor. Looks so he's gained the position, and the Puerto Rican driver almost touching as they exited turn 8. So great job from the young Belgian. And look how close it is still in that battle for 4th place. 63 Lamborghini, started by Mirko Bortolotti. And he's looking, there's a car up ahead. Will this affect them? There's a back marker up ahead. Closes the door a bit. That's Caitlin Wood, stepped up from the GT4 series, and now suddenly she's at the very sharp point of this GT3 race, the Blancpain Sprint Cup. And Andrew Watson is alongside, but he's on the wrong position on the outside of the circuit up into turn 16. They're all going to touch. They have all touched. They've all gone off. The moment that Vincent Abril was looking for has come to him. He's gained 2 positions. The drop of a hat. Caitlin Wood is spun around that dual attack. The McLaren up the inside and taking with him, for a brief moment, Christian Engelhardt. So all change behind. So suddenly he was 6th, and now number 7 Bentley, Vincent Abril, is up into 4th place, and that could yet become 3rd, because don't forget, we're still waiting for the team manager of car number 90, which is running in 3rd position, to go and see race control. He's almost run out of time to do that. Here's a replay of the incident. Round up the inside of Caitlin Wood they go. She's in the 24 Lamborghini. She turns into the corner, and they start running out of space. The McLaren on the inside, and very quickly rejoining, in fact clipping the nose of Caitlin Wood's Lamborghini. And it's almost all over as one of the back markers looks like it's limping in with a puncture, or just simply keeping out of the way. Going towards the end of the lap. But 0-0-1 on the windscreen, and that means victory. And Mercedes comes to the finish line, passing one of the BMWs that just haven't had a glorious race. Not quite lapping them though. There is the checkered flag. Maxi Boot gets his hair rearranged for him down in the Mercedes garage. A 1-2 for the team, so double joy for them. And it looks though Michael Meadows will finish, British driver, coming home in 3rd place. We don't know yet if he'll be able to keep that. 5.7 seconds was the gap between 1st and 2nd. And there was Vincent Abril, who should be coming home in 4th place, not that far behind the Mercedes. And which is that car pulling to the side of the circuit? Someone's had a problem right at the end of the race. We saw a car limping in slowly, and Felix Sarayes has managed to come home in 5th place. So really good for Mercedes in the top 5.
Congratulations, Max. You looked a little bit pensive at the beginning, a lot happier now.
Yeah, at the beginning, I think it's a good start to the season. Beginning was a bit tough, a bit of a mess with the safety car, red flag and so on, but the team gave us a really perfect car tonight. Frank did a mega job at the end. I'm really happy now that we could kick off the season like that.
How sad were you to see the Lamborghini peel off at the end of the 2nd lap?
Yeah, sure, it's really sad for them. I would love to fight it at the track, but it's how it is, and I took the opportunity to pull away, and that's it, yeah.
Perfect job. Frank Pereira, doesn't get any better. First race, new team on the winner's podium.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, it's first race with a pro also. For me, it was a long time with a pro-am. So, he did a really good job, because it was not so easy. You know, with the accident, it's always very nervous first race.
But no, he did an amazing job. HTP did also a really, really good job, and it's really a pleasure to be on the AMG Mercedes here. It's great to start like this.
I mean, you really didn't have anybody challenging you whatsoever once you went out. Max had a lot more to deal with, but you had a pretty easy run to the end.
Yeah, it's never easy because you also have to lap, and it's dark, it's a lot of new drivers coming from also Asia and everything, so it's not so easy. And I almost touched somebody because he didn't see me. So it's never easy, but it's a duo, it's a team, and it's good to start like that.
Well, you brought the car back in showroom condition. Well done.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at the results. 2 cars from HTP Motorsport, first and second, and that Marciello crew with Michael Meadows finishing third. But the honours to Franck Pereira and Maxi Buch, followed with an impressive start by Fabian Schiller and Jules Simkowiak. So the gold standard at the first time of asking has been set by Mercedes, but the 2 HTP Motorsport crews, 2 of their 3 cars up there in first and second positions. But certainly for Michael Meadows and Raffaele Marciello, it shows that Team ACA ASP may yet be a factor in this championship, but they were some distance behind our overall winners because that was a fantastic performance from the front. The sun is shining at Misano for the opening main race of the season. We had the qualifying race in the dark last night, and that was a real firecracker of an event. Totally different conditions. The cloud has burnt away this morning, and we will have 29 starters for this race. We lost 5 in the clash on the opening lap last night, but we've got the really quick ones right at the front. So let's have a run down the grid. Franck Pereira will be starting the 84 Mercedes on pole. Michael Meadows alongside in the 90 Mercedes. Then Vincent Abril in the 7 Bentley. Felix Sarayes across from single seaters in the 88 Mercedes. Enzo Ida, last year's champion, starting in 5th, and alongside him Romain Monti, then Christian Engelhardt in his Lamborghini, and Marcel Fassler moved across from the World Endurance Championship. Clement Schmidt, one of the ISR Audis, and Marcus Krohn in the better placed of the BMWs. Fabian Schiller, as I said, demoted down to 11th on the grid. Stuart Leonard starting alongside. Mikhail Broniszewski, the top Pro-Am driver, 13th. Then Gustavo Jackermann, new to the championship, he'll be starting immediately behind alongside Tom Glomqvist, who's joined BMW. And here come the cars around the final corner, turn 16. They can see the starting lights on the gantry. Of course, they're still red. They'll be held until the 29 cars are on the straight. And when they go green, will it be Pereira leading down to the first corner or Michael Meadows? But Vincent Abril making a massive charge. He's tucked in behind the 84 Mercedes. Will he get into second place at turn 1? Oh, he's level with Michael Meadows on the outside. But Pereira's made a great start from the front, and everyone seems to have got through 1, 2, 3. Bitty Bandy pushed wide down at the tail end of the grouping, but the Mercedes reign first and second, and behind there's one in 4th place as well. But Vincent Abril had a move there, John, didn't quite work.
Yeah, he got into turn 1 effectively in second place, but Michael Meadows able to use the longer line, get run, then get position as everybody runs right almost into the centre of Misano town as they come out of turn 6. But it's the Mercedes first and second. Franck Pereira, as his teammate Maxi Buch was pointing out, quite pensive, but has got the control of the race on this opening lap, just halfway around the lap, but that's where he wants to be. He's got clear air ahead of him. He can choose the part of the racetrack. He's not compromised, and there's that damage to the number 5 Audi already, where there's tire smoke, a bit of a body rub.
That's Marcel Fassler. I was about to say the 2 cars that got closest going through turn 8, the hairpin in front of our commentary position, were 2 of the Team WRT Audis, and clearly one of them has picked up a little bit of damage at the front end. So unfortunately for them, well, a lot of bodywork damage as it rubs on the tyre. One of the ISR Audis, or is that the Santalok Audi going out? But clearly dropping down the order is that number 5 Audi, and shame for them because they started from 8th on the grid. And he's keeping out of the way now, very sensibly indeed. What we can tell you, of course, is Franck Pereira leading the race, Michael Meadows second, Vincent Abril starting to attack in 3rd, and Felix Sarayes making it 3 Mercedes in the top 4, showing that he's taken to GT racing with considerable aplomb.
Yes, and that second place, Michael Meadows coming under threat yet again from Vincent Abril coming down into turn 1, but Michael Meadows able to consolidate. Vincent Abril, as has been the case pretty much throughout the running we had last night, you can get close, but you can't get quite enough to get alongside. You've got to be square alongside the car you're going to overtake.
There is the bodywork damage, and everything's still smoking on the front of that number 5 Audi. I don't think he'd be playing much more of a role. Sitting on an advantage of under a second. In fact, it's getting towards a second now. Franck Pereira, Michael Meadows, Vincent Abril is going to be close enough to make a move soon. I think he's just going to let the race settle down. The place changing is happening further back in the order. You can see one of the Audis making a move. That's number 3, Jake Dennis. Peter Schothorst, the Dutch teammate, will have been starting that. They've had a rotten meeting early on, but it's coming back their way. Riding on board, looking forward around the lap. It's corner after corner after corner, and as you can see Fabian Schiller there tucked in behind 86 sister car of Jimmy Eriksson. That was the one that was punted down the order with Dominic Baumann at the wheel on the opening laps by Raffaele Marciello last night. It worked its way back towards the tail end, just outside the top 10 last night, but having to do it all over again.
But just catching there, the number 1 Audi sort of backing up Romain Monti and the Lamborghini, the BMW, and then further behind the Mercedes. So he not able to maintain the pace of the 26 Audi. It's going to probably sneak away. Now it'll be but contact up at turn 2. And it's the 85 and the Lamborghini.
Well, I just mentioned Fabian Schiller. I said he was on the attack. Unfortunately, that didn't work, and he spun Christian Engelhardt around. That was a battle for 7th place. Let's have in fact, now the BMWs are saying thank you very much and making advance. Jesse Krohn in 98.
That's the Mercedes really in the pound seat, coming down into turn 14, but the other BMW slips up the inside, and it's going to hold that position. There's no long way around as they come out of turn 14 up into 15. So one BMW gets the job done, and not the car that looked like it was going to be the one that would get the advantage.
Yes, I wasn't sure that Jimmy Eriksson was going to be able to pull back over. I thought Tom Blomqvist in the second of the BMWs was going to be blocking that little bit of track. Let's have a little look at the replay. Up the inside, this is the moment where, Christian Engelhardt had nothing to do with that. You have to say that Fabian Schiller's learnt a lesson as he turns over to GT racing. Quick, we know, but that was a little too brave.
Yes, I mean, 3 into 1 at that part of the track is never going to work.
Because now it's the Audis starting to make a bit of a charge as they get in among the lower order, the mid order there. That's Frank Stippler in 74 and Clement Schmidt in 75 running nose to tail and taking the battle to Christian Engelhardt as he tries to recover from that moment. Has the Audi got ahead? But Engelhardt had that little spin and got going very quickly indeed. He was very impressive last night.
Yes, he did. I mean, there was a big battle between Andrew Watson and Christian Engelhardt, and that went on for the best part of the second part of the race.
Well, I think that could be Enzo Ido who's just gone for a spin. I said it wasn't Belgian Audi Club's day.
Well, drive-through penalty for car 85, causing a collision. That was the Mercedes we saw tagging the Lamborghini. So that's the penalty for taking out an innocent party. But in the case of Enzo Ide, pretty uncharacteristic to see him having an unforced error all of his own. So maybe there was some element, maybe defence, whatever, we don't know. Up the inside, as we look at the battle going on, Andrew Watson with the number 3 car. This is a battle for the final position in the top 10. So McLaren.
Look how hard 86 is pushing. That's Jimmy Eriksson, driver who's raced in all sorts of categories but seems to have settled on GT racing, and he's making the move and making it stick. So there was nothing that Jesse Krohn could do. That was very well orchestrated indeed. Next target, Romain Monti.
But the reason why he was able to do that is because he was quicker off turns 9 and 10.
I just want to see if number 86 can pull away. Well, the person who is pulling away is Franck Pereira, just lowering the best lap of the race yet again. He was 5 and a bit seconds clear. Just out to see Michael Meadows 5.9 seconds clear, so he's making it look very easy in the 84 Mercedes, but pressing on, not under challenge, but a driver who's having to, his position has been compromised is Christian Engelhardt, down in 14th, not really making progress. In fact, now he's been attacked. The blue bonnet means it's Peter Schotthorst who's been in the wars himself. There was an incident between himself and one other car earlier in the race. I think it was one of the McLarens. I think it was Ben Barnicoat. That was under investigation. But right now, Christian Engelhardt, having had that spin, he's losing positions and gaining them again, but he's not running in clear air. It means the rest of his race, until he hands over, is stuck in traffic. For now, Romain Monti in the 26 Audi, and right behind him, 86 Jimmy Eriksson, going through turns 1 and 2, continuing yet further.
The thing that the team have got to work out is not when you make your pit stop, but it's when will you rejoin, and approximately, around the outside. And that was a look, just putting, again, more pressure on Monti, making him look in his mirrors. Now he's in a position coming out of turn 5. Quick flick through turn 6. Stay on the racetrack, don't overrun.
The windows open.
And that by BMW. So the 86 Mercedes, quick dive down into the pit lane. And that's a smart call from the HTP team. Get him in at the earliest opportunity to do a driver car change.
HTP right at the top end of the pit lane by pit exit. Tidy looking pit stop from 86. He's been making a great charge. Now let's see how good will these pit stops be. It's a very, very slow, twisty pit exit. The mechanic takes a tumble but rolls over the white line.
Marciello on his way. We need to see what happens to the 86 car. And the Bentley makes its way down the pit lane as well. So this is not going to be maybe the best stop for the 86 car. Well, look, he's coming out directly behind the 90 car, so maybe that's better than we anticipated. As the WRT Audi team, was that something dropped? I saw somebody picking up maybe a wheel nut, couldn't be sure. Normally in the Audi, the wheel nuts are attached. They've got a special clip mechanism to the wheel itself, so that when they take the gun off or put the gun on, the nut is located, and then just a very sophisticated mechanism spins the nut up quick as you can, and that's why WRT and other top teams are so efficient with their pit stops.
So race leader Frank Pereira into the pit lane. And
fresh, new tyres, not fresh, new tyres are going on at this point. So we will see, I am assuming, is that a set of sticker tyres? Hard to tell. But HTP get the car rolling. Maximilian Book behind the wheel. Great stint from Frank Pereira, really having a honeymoon of a first event with the HTP team. So Stephen Kane, I referred to him on the grid as an ankle snapper. He is such a positive, aggressive. He knows how to pass, he knows how to race, and that's what you want, particularly when you're going into the second part of a race, to consolidate the good work done by your teammate.
But he's going to have to know how to defend, because he's got Dominic Baumann right behind him, the Mercedes with the green flash up the inside. It almost looked as though he hadn't paid attention to him being there, because he was distracted by the Reiter Lamborghini they just passed. But now the Mercedes looks though it's got the legs on the Bentley. The Bentley is desperate to stay ahead. So Stephen Kane prevailing in second position now. We've had that change at the front. So it's Maxi Book leading by 23 seconds. Dominic Baumann in third. Felix Sarai is fourth. Well, it's not. It's Daniel Juncadella. And Christopher Haase, who've been putting in some really quick laps, is catching them as well in the number 26 Audi. The top 5, right down to Christopher Haase in the number 26 Santalot Racing Audi, all lapping in the 1 minute 33s. In fact, in Philippe Eng, you mentioned he was starting to get a bit of a move on in his BMWs, the second of the BMWs in 7th place. He's 1.5 seconds down on his teammate. He's also in the 1 minute 33s, and even, we know Mirko Bortolotti to start. He's in 10th place, the final points paying position. Drive-through penalties, 2 cars that have exceeded the track limits too much. It's the Orange 1 team, Lazarus, Lamborghini, and car 75, which is the second of the ISR Audis, Clement Schmidt and Philippe Salacada. So let's have a little look. 86, Dominic Baumann pushing very, very hard. And again, this wonderful super slow-mo camera. Let's have a look at the curbs. They will be on the left-hand side of the cars.
And when you
so
see
they
them,
are.
when you see them going over the curb, you see how much distortion there is within the bodywork of the car and the amount of energy that those body parts are having to absorb.
Well, one of the most remarkable things in this battle is Stephen Kane drives almost as though he's not being chased. He's unbelievably calm. He hasn't taken defensive lines in particular. He's done just enough. But as you said, that Bentley has really good punches out of the corners. Here it comes onto the start, finish straight. And just a blink of an eye behind them is Daniel Juncadella, the Spanish racer. Now, is this a change of order between the BMWs? Yes, it is. Philippe Eng, he seemed to be the quicker of the two. He's gone past Marcus Palsson, but then he drove off the circuit, but just gets back into position to hold the right-hand side of the circuit from the driver's point of view through turn 9.
I do suspect there may have been a little bit of assistance in that from the pit lane, telling the 98 car, let the 99 go through, it's quicker.
Interesting though, John, watching that from the low-down angle from Juncadella, it looked as though Stephen Kane had made a mistake. It was going very, very deep in the corner. Was he going to slide off? It was then obscured by Dominic Baumann's car, but the next time we saw Stephen, he got the corner turned in, he knew exactly where he wanted to be. He's been taking that line again and again, but to see it from behind from that low-down angle, very intriguing.
Yeah, and frustratingly for Baumann and now for Juncadella, they're sitting there and they know there's not much they can do. Baumann goes one way to the left to try and frustrate Stephen Kane. What he's trying to do is get Stephen Kane to drive on his rear view mirror, his side mirrors, to look rather backwards than forwards. If you can do that, then you're getting under the skin of the competitor you're chasing down. The Bentley already has consolidated its second place, and Baumann powerless to do anything about it. Again, under braking coming down into turn 14, all over the back of the Bentley like a rash, and you can see tension within the Bentley pits.
So Maxi Book leading still by 23 seconds. He's obviously just got it pegged to the car behind, which is Stephen Kane, who's got nothing pegged. He's held everything down, but nothing is certain for Stephen Kane. Now what we're seeing as we go on to yet one more lap, nerves at the world of Bentley, because the gap between their remaining car, number 7, is 0.299 of a second. Dominic Baumann is far from finished. 2 minutes remaining, so it should be this lap and the next lap they've got to go. Plenty of nerves. Will he be able to hang on? Dominic Baumann is giving his absolute all to try and reverse that position. And Jimmy Eriksson, who drove very well early on, having to watch from the garage, hoping his teammate can deliver. Vincent Abril, I think, will start breathing again. Is his car going to come home in second place? 1 second covers all 4 of those cars, and now with everything under control, coming up to the final corner of the final lap, Maxi Buch. He was the outright champion along with Dominic Baumann last year. ATP Motorsport have split them up, and the advantage is with Buch at the moment as he takes victory. The lights are flashing. He probably backed off a little bit on that final lap, but victory to them. Who will be second? Will it be Stephen Kane? It looks as though it's going to be the Bentley racer coming now up to the final corner of the race. Through the little kink at 15. He's got the line he wants. Holds the car gently through the final corner, and Vincent Abril is breathing again. Even Malcolm Wilson waits a few more seconds just to check, but second place to Bentley Team M Sport, and that doesn't quite make up for their 8 car being really battered last night, but for Vincent Abril, it's a marker laid down early in the season. 6th place looks so it will go to Blancpain, so it does, and then Marcus Paltela makes it 2 BMWs in a row. Rob Bell right on his tail in the 59 McLaren. The way Frank Pereira holding the board that says number 1, and that is showed to number 84, which of course is his car. Ian Maxi Buch, wow, what a combination they're proving to be. John Watson has caught up with Frank Pereira and Maxi Buch, the winners of the Sunday race.
Frank Pereira, that was a very sweet opening stint from you.
Yeah, it was good start. I think it was not so easy because the Bentley had a turbo, you know, so he tried to pass me, but I had a good one, and then I tried to be really constant, you know, try to really be focused to make a big gap, you know, for Max, like he did also yesterday. And no, the car was amazing, and the pista was really good. I think we really worked together a lot, and we improved. So this is really a good thing, and Max did finish the job really well, and this is really perfect weekend for me for the first time with the team. And I want to thank HTP Motorsport. They did a really good job, and we have also another car in the podium, and it's really a pleasure to be on AMG Mercedes here.
Give us a big smile, just so happy you are.
So happy, yeah.
Maxi, I keep saying you're having a walk in the park. You could have actually slowed down and made it a 5-way race for the lead of this race. Why didn't you do that?
Because I'm too scared about that. Because I know that the others are quicker, and I don't want to mess it up. No joking. Frank did an amazing job, an outstanding job. He pushed really hard to make a gap for the pit stop, that we have no troubles at the pit stop, that we can take it a bit more relaxed to do no mistakes. And at the end, I just wanted to bring the car home, didn't want to over push, didn't want to break anything or have a tire failure, so it worked well,
Well, as that great rock star Lou Reed said, you've had a perfect day, you guys. Enjoy it.
I said it last year.
I know I did. I didn't think you'd remember that.
Maxi Buch, sharp as a tack, won't let John Watson off with anything, which is exactly how it should be. But let's hear from our Bentley boys, because John has moved across the second place crew of Vincent Abril and Stephen Kane.
Vincent Abril, we saw you looked so tense in the pits while Stephen Kane was in the car.
Yeah, because I know exactly what he was dealing with. I think we could see today that it was a bit of a Mercedes battle, and at the front it was difficult to be within their pace. And today I think we did the absolute best we could ever do as a team. Coming in and after practice and qualifying, everything we could hope for was points, and we managed to score a double podium in the weekend, and we're really satisfied of ourselves. Thank you to the team, thank you to Bentley, and thank you to Stephen, which drove a fantastic stint, and we're happy to be back in the podium.
Well, you both did a great job, but Stephen, under pressure all the way through. Dominic Baumann, high up, low down, trying to get around you, but you just had the speed in the straight, which managed to consolidate your second place.
Yeah, our car, the Bentley GT3, is really working with the new Pirelli tire, and we've got lots of traction, and we're really using it coming off the corners. So, it's that was the key for us. We were really good on the brakes, really good in traction, and it was difficult under pressure. There's a lot of fast guys behind me, and we dealt with it very well, and the car was brilliant. So a big thanks to Vince, who drove a fantastic first stint, him to make the gap, and a great thank you to the team for giving us a fantastic car.
Winners, Frank Pereira, who started, and Maxi Buch. Pole position proved to be great for them, pulling clear. And Vincent Abril and Stephen Kane should be very proud of second place for Bentley. Jimmy Eriksson, Dominic Baumann third, as Mercedes show their form, along with Felix Sarayes and Daniel Juncadella. Romain Montier and Christopher Haase did well. They stayed in fifth place from start to finish. Tom Blancpain and Blancpain started to make progress for BMW, along with their teammates Jesse Krohn and Marcus Paltela. So applause all round. The first trophies coming out for the crew in third place. Jimmy Eriksson, Dominic Baumann in the black. They pushed hard, just couldn't find a chink because there wasn't a chink open to aim for. Stephen Kane kept the door firmly closed and very cleanly too. And for Vincent Abril, the driver who didn't breathe for the last 5 laps, relief all around, and he was running around like a madman in the pit lane.
Vincent always shows his emotion. There's no disguising it, and Stephen Kane responded to the pressure, didn't put a wheel wrong, used his strength to their benefits. And Dominic Baumann frustrated. He needed traffic maybe just to wrong foot Stephen Kane. Didn't really happen. So a great drive from both the Bentley drivers.
And in the sunshine of Misano, we thank you all for watching this opening round. Next Blancpain GT action will be an endurance round at Misano in 3 weeks' time.